As the pirates started up the cliff, Alex turned to Q. Do you remember the name of that big fat cow whom we met last year? Q found that question odd. These are starting to be a bit more complicated sentences. I'm looking for verbs here to start. To turn. Turn's a great word, by the way, to look up in the dictionary. Remember. Met. A lot of action verbs here. Found. Okay, well, we've got 3 sentences, but I think we have more clauses than that. At the beginning of this, I think what we have here is a subordinate clause that opens up the first sentence. Who started, or what started, up the cliff? It's the pirates. This is the subject that goes with started. It's the pirates. Here is your subordinate conjunction subordinating the entire clause. Up the cliff. This is a prepositional phrase, and it's telling where they started up the cliff. This entire clause is adverbial. Alex turned. It's talking about how Alex turned to Q. When? As the pirates started up the cliff. Alex is the subject of turned. Where he turned, there is a prepositional phrase to Q. I think that's it for the first sentence. Then we've got this piece of dialogue. Do you remember the name of that big fat cow whom we met last year? We've got 2 verbs here. This is the beginning of a subordinate. This is the beginning of a relative clause, a dependent relative clause. It's got that relative pronoun at the beginning. Let's take a look at this clause. Who met last year? We. There's the subject of met. It's an action verb. We're looking for a direct object. We met whom or what? Well, in fact, the answer is right here. This is the direct object of this clause. And then last, modifying year. Last year is a little noun phrase that's functioning adverbially, telling when we met. The entire clause is adjectival. The entire clause now, modifying cow. Getting back to the beginning of this sentence, it's not just remember, it's do remember, which is the verb here. You is the subject. You might hear my little kitty buddy in the background, by the way. He wants to come out and play. He was climbing up my leg last film we made, last segment. You do remember what? Name. He'll come right on out after this. Of that big fat cow. Now, I can surely end this parentheses after cow, but since I've got this dependent clause modifying it, essentially joining with cow, I can also draw my parentheses right there. There's the preposition. That and big and fat all modify cow, which is the object of the preposition. It is getting difficult to read this. Sorry about that. In the final sentence, Q found that question odd. Here's your subject. Found what? Question. There's your direct object. Demonstrative adjective pointing at question. And then we've got odd. You might think of it as an adverb, how they found odd, but I think in fact it's more clearly modifying question adjectively. You might see it as a shortened form of an infinitive, to be odd. Q found that question to be at. Even if you did that, that's adjectival, modifying question. All right, I'm going to go get Buddy.